Hello students, we are going to continue on with our notes. Last time we talked about absolute values, and now we are going to talk about fractions. So let us write a header there with the word fractions. And in talking about fractions, there are a few rules that we would like to discuss. But before we even start, I want to talk about some unique types of fractions that we can find. So some unique fractions will be, for example, we're going to add a bullet point here, and we're going to say mixed number and we'll do a plus improper fraction. So an example of a mixed number, let's say, is something like 1 and 2 over 3, whereas an example of an improper fraction would be something like 5 over 3. Now, these two numbers that I've included are actually the exact same number, but they're just written a little bit differently. And so what we could do is, let's take a look at, let's say, how these two numbers are the same. So if we are looking at this mixed number right here, what we really have are two numbers that are combined together. We have the number 1, right, which is the whole number, and we have the number 2 over 3. Now, how would this match the improper fraction? Well, if you take a look at this number on the left here, you see how when you have 1 plus 2 over 3, you could actually turn that number 1, I'm going to use orange here to show it, this one right here, you can turn it into a fraction. Now, a whole number is usually when the top and bottom number is exactly the same. So it could be 1 over 1, 2 over 2, 3 over 3, 4 over 4, 5 over 5. Now, because this number is a 3, we're actually going to be smart about this, and we are going to change the 1 into something that is over 3. Now, what would make it 1? It would be 3 over 3. It's kind of like saying if there are 3 little parts and I have 3 of those, well, then I get 1 entire part. Okay, so 3 over 3 would be an example of that, what that one would become. Then if I continue adding it to the fraction that I have, which is 2 over 3, you could see that I could add the top numbers here, and that would make 5. And the bottom number would stay the same because I'm adding them, and that would be a 3. So you could see how I could change the mixed number into an improper fraction. I could also do that with the improper fraction. So let's add another section though, because this one takes a little bit longer. So turning an improper fraction into a mixed number. Let me push that a bit there. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to turn the improper fraction into a mixed number. Now I'm going to use the improper fraction I already have, which is 5 over 3. How do I turn that into a mixed number? Well, the proper way to do it is we can then say that this 5 over 3 right here is an addition of two things. So you see that I have 5 tiny parts, right? And each of them, every time I get 3 of them, I could combine them into one whole thing. So as you can see here, I do have a 3 over 3 plus a 2 over 3. Now let's take a look at this for a second, right? And I'm going to use the orange again. So you could see how the denominator here, the bottom number, is a 3, which means I could also carry that over to the other side there, right? Now, How I divide the 5 up, it's up to me. I could make it 1 over 3 plus 1 over 3 plus 1 over 3 and like do that, up to, until 5. But another thing that I could do is turn it into, and actually I'm going to quickly change this to green. This can also be 3 plus 2. All right, you see that? So the question is, why would I want to do this? Well, that's because now 3 over 3, we just mentioned earlier, is equal to 1. And then I can add the 2 over 3. And whenever I have a whole number with a fraction added to it, I could just put the numbers next to each other. So it's 1 and 2/3. So you could see here that I was able to go back and forth. I was able to turn the mixed number into an improper fraction and go the other way as well. So that is an example of how you can use these mixed numbers and improper fractions. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little bit more complex. Let's take a number that is an improper fraction and we're going to turn it into a mixed number, okay? But this time the number is going to be a little bit bigger here. So we're going to make it 11 over 5. So how can I turn this into a mixed number? So you see that I have 11 over 5. What I'm going to start with is I'm going to see how many fractions over 5 I have. So if I were to take the 5 over 5, right, you could see here, so let's say I have 5 over 5. Now, it's not enough. It's not equal to 11 over 5. 11 over 5 is obviously a lot bigger. So what I could do is I could actually add another 5 over 5. You see that? And now I have 10 over 5, but I still have an extra number here. So if I add the 5 and 5, that's 10, but I need to add it up to 11, which means what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more, and that also has to be over 5. Right? You could see how I have 5 over 5 plus 5 over 5 plus 1 over 5, and now it's the same as 11. Now, I'm going to go downwards here, so I'm going to write the equals down here to continue on this, but this is so you could see the comparison of what I'm trying to do here. So you see that on the top, 5 over 5 is equal to the whole number 1. So I could write that down. Now, next to it, I also have another 1 because it's another 5 over 5. Now, the 1 over 5, I can't really do much with it, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to write 1 over 5. Now, what does this become then? You guys know how to add whole numbers. You know that if I add 1 plus 1, then that's going to be 2. So now I'm left with 2 plus 1 over 5. And with that, I should have the final answer of 2 and 1/5. Okay, so that is me turning an improper fraction into a mixed number. All right, now that I have this example, we're going to use one more method, and this is using long division to figure this out. Because sometimes you might get a number like, let's do another example, 27 over 5. Now, the thing is, if I were to do it the previous way, it would just take a while. So what I can do is I can turn this into a long division, which would look something like 27 divided by 5. So now, let's see what the answer would be here. I know that 27 divided by 5 is going to be 5. That's the biggest number that can fit, because then I will have 25. So then I subtract, and what is the remainder? It is 2. All right. So now, let's see what this means. So the top number here is going to be the whole number, because 5 can go into 27 5 times completely, right? So then I'm left with this whole number that I will write down right here, 5. And let's actually write an equal sign, because 27 over 5 is equal to. So there's the 5 right there. And then I'm left with this number here. This is like the leftover. So this is what will go into the fraction. Okay, so then I'm left with the number 2. And because it's a fraction, it has to go over a number. And the denominator I had previously is 5. So it's going to be 5. So then my final answer is this right here, 5 and 2 over 5. Right, that's what my final answer would look like. So you could see how using the long division method is a lot faster. And so hopefully you can use this method as well. All right, and that is the notes for now.